Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. So, as today morning, we decided to learn what is that PWM generator, correct? That is required to switch over that switching element, and that is transistor. Okay. So, before going to that directly to that PWM generator, we will take one of the application of our op-amp as a comparator. We already studied it during the last year in integrated circuit. So I will just simply will draw here that comparator circuit. To one of that terminal, suppose inverting terminal, I connected one reference voltage source, that is constant DC. For example, it is of 1 volt, and to the another terminal, that is non-inverting terminal, if I connected, for example, one time varying signal as a sine wave, which is of 5 volt peak with somewhat frequency, for example, 1 kilohertz. And at the output across this RL, I want to observe or check the nature of output. Correct? So first of all, what I will do, I will just show that signals. First one, I will show the sine wave of 5 volt peak. This is nothing but 5 volt. This one is also minus 5 volts. Okay. And the frequency is 1 kilo. This is my first signal, which is applied to the non-inverting terminal of that op-amp. Okay. And to the inverting terminal now, there is constant DC source, which is of 1 volt. So again, I will show that DC source like this. This is nothing but my reference voltage of 1 volt. V reference. Are you getting it? Is it visible properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we are considering two signals. One is known as a reference signal, that is a DC voltage source, which is of, I consider here as a 1 volt, and another one that is sine wave of 5 volt peak. Correct? That 5 volt peak, it is connected to the non-inverting terminal of that op-amp, and reference voltage is connected to inverting. Okay. So see, for the time period between that sine wave takes its amplitude minimum as 1 volt. Suppose it is at T1, we can say. At T0, the amplitude of that sine wave is 0 volts. At T1, it reaches to 1 volt. At pi by 2, it will reach to peak, that is 5 volt. Again, at T2, I will consider that signal comes back to 1 volt. At pi, it will go to 0, and later on, it will take negative values up to 2 pi. Okay. Now, our op-amp having very high open loop gain will going on to provide the output. What do you think? For time period T0 to T1, what will be the output of op-amp? For time period T0 to T1, the reference signal is dominant. as compared to that sine wave, correct? That means it will have a large amplitude as compared to sine wave for time period less than t1, right? And hence the obtained output will be what? Negative or positive?
Negative.
It will be negative. Negative how much? How much will be negative? Your answer is correct. Op-amp we are using here, it is a comparator, right now, and it is used in open loop configuration. So in open loop configuration, whatever output we will obtain by that op-amp, that will be equals to open loop gain into the differential input voltage. Are you agree with this? In open loop condition, gain of that op-amp is nothing but open loop gain into what? Input differential voltage. Right now. So these things you already studied during last year. So see, you will observe as the open loop gain of op-amp is very high. For our general purpose op-amp, that is 741, it is 2 into 10 raised to 5 into that input differential voltage, whatever it may be, just above the 0 volt. You will observe the output of op-amp, it will be equals to saturated output. Are you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, simply suppose that input signal sine wave is less than T1, the differential voltage, suppose it is at 0.5, between T0 to T1, I will consider 1 point, between T0 to T1, input signal amplitude is, for example, 0.5 volts. That means I will consider this one as V in is equals to 0.5. My V reference is 1 volt. So how much will be the differential voltage? V differential, it will be minus 0.5 volt. Are you agree? And if you try to calculate it by taking the magnitude of the differential voltage, you will observe 0.5 into 2 into 10 raised to 5. This much will be the output voltage. That means it will be equals to 1 into 10 raised to 5 volts. Agree? At a particular time period between T0 to T1, if I consider that V in, it reaches to just 0.5 volts, just 0.5, while reference voltage is fixed, which is at 1 volt. So the differential voltage, it will become 0.5, 1 minus 0.5, no? So it will be 0.5, and as per the formula, gain of that or output of that op-amp, here I will say output of that op-amp, it will be open loop gain into input differential voltage. If that 741 is considered having its open loop gain as 2 into 10 raised to 5, so it will be 2 into 10 raised to 5 into 0.5, correct? Differential voltage. So it will become 1 into 10 raised to 5. So the obtained output voltage, it will be 1 into 10 raised to 5. But really, we can obtain this much large output voltage? No. The maximum obtained output voltage by the op-amp, it is saturated output. Correct now? Agree? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So if that plus minus VCC use is of 15 volts, then it will be equals to 90% of VCC, correct? And that's why it will be plus minus 13.5 volts. You will observe for time period T0 to T1, the obtained output voltage, it will be minus Vsat. and that is of minus 13.5. Now at T1, that sine wave signal will reach to 1 volt. Our reference voltage is also at 1 volt. So the differential voltage will become 0, and hence at T equals to T1, the output of that op amp it will become 0. That means over here. And later on, after T1, now the sine wave amplitude is more as compared to our reference voltage, and that's why output will get switched to plus Vsat. Correct? Are you agree?
Yes, sir.
And will remain plus Vsat up to T2. At T2 again it will go to 0. After T2, the output of that op amp, it will remain minus Vsat during the complete negative half cycle, because sine wave will have the negative values while our reference voltage is at plus 1. Okay, and that's why that output it will remain minus Vsat. Again, next positive half cycle will start till that output will remain negative, until again it will go on to reach its equal value of reference voltage, that is 1 volt, and again it will go on to switch to plus Vsat like this. Are you getting it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I connected one series diode to this circuit like this, then what will be the nature of output?
Only
We
positive.
will have the output only the positive pulses. Correct? And that negative pulses it will get slip off, as that diode will remain in reverse bias condition. So this is the simple example how we can generate that positive pulses as per our requirement, and that is known as a pulse width modulation or PWM. Now, without taking any dedicated time varying signal source, we will try to generate that signal by ourselves by using the various components or whatever the things you studied during your second year engineering or up to second year. So to generate the sine wave, this is not that much simple as compared to generate the another type of waveforms, and best example is triangular waveform. Okay, so instead of using sine wave, I will go on to prefer triangular as a carrier, and reference voltage that we will decide according to the amplitude as well as the duration of that pulse we require. Okay, is it okay up to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so see, I considered that carrier as a triangular wave. You might have studied how to generate the various time varying patterns like sawtooth wave, triangular wave, square wave, etc. during the applications of op amp. Correct? So is it possible to generate the triangular wave? I know you already studied it in operational amplifier. Okay. Are you studied integrator? Are you heard about integrator?
Yes,
Op amp
sir.
has integrator.
Yes.
Yes, no? So for integrator circuit, if my applied input is square wave, for integrator circuit, if applied input signal is square wave, what will be its output?
Triangular
Integration
wave.
of square.
It's a triangular wave.
Triangular or sawtooth wave.
Triangular wave, correct? And yes, and that's why I selected here that reference signal as a triangular. Now the second Question, can we generate the square wave? Yes, there is one application. By using again op-amp, we can generate the square wave without taking any help of the external time varying signal. That means we can use op-amp as a oscillator. Non-sinusoidal signal can be generated by using op-amp. And square wave, it is a non-sinusoidal signal, right? It is a time varying but non-sinusoidal. So op-amp as oscillator, that also you already studied. So it's very simple now. By taking the op-amp, generate the square wave. By taking another op-amp and design it as an integrator, apply the square wave as an input to the second circuitry, that is op-amp as integrator, so that you can obtain the output as triangular and as per your desired frequency. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? We will require,
Yes.
here at this stage, we will require carrier signal to generate the PWM. Carrier signal I selected, so many PWM techniques are there. Out of that, I selected triangular wave as a carrier, which I will be able to compare with some of 6 reference voltage, DC signal, DC voltage, and I can obtain that pulsating DC, which I can call it as a PWM. Okay, so the first part is how to generate that square wave. Square wave generator using op-amp. Okay. If you can recall that circuitry, basic circuit, you can draw it. Otherwise, I will show you. If you have a notebook pen, you can fastly draw it. Otherwise, can take the screenshot. Okay, this is the basic circuit, oscillator circuit we can say, or op-amp as square wave generator. You will observe there is no any time varying input signal source. Without that time varying signal source, we can generate the output as a square wave, right? So how it will go on to generate it, that basic its working principle, I will go on to explain. You might be familiar with offset voltages. Do you know about output offset voltage of op-amp? Do you know it? What is meant by offset voltage? Various op-amp parameters you studied already during your first practical only in integrated circuit. I know it. You determine slew rate, you determine CMRR, you determine that bias current, offset voltages, etc., etc. Right? So remember, for ideal op-amp, that output offset voltage is 0. Okay, but for practical op-amp, it is non-zero. It is very, very small, but it is there, right? So remember, I will go on to consider at t equals to t0, whenever I will go on to turn on this supply which is connected to this op-amp as shown, practically can I obtain this output voltage exactly as a 0 volt? Will it be exactly as a 0 volt? No. No. There will be somewhat offset voltage. Okay. It will be very, very small, but still it will be available. Okay. Now see, that offset voltage at t equals to T0 will going on to generate somewhat node voltage over here. Correct? Are you agree with this? Suppose somewhat small millivolt output offset is available. By voltage divider, we can simply calculate how much will be the node voltage. I will call this one as node B, this one as node A. Okay. During starting of this circuitry, whenever I will be going to turn on, there will be somewhat non-zero node B voltage. That will be equals to that output offset into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Simple voltage divider rule. Okay. At the same time, as capacitor, it is discharge capacitor. That means it will go on to act as a open path, and hence voltage at A, it will be equals to 0. Now remember that output offset, it may be positive or it may be negative, plus minus. That value of that offset voltage by the manufacturer is given like plus minus something. Okay. Here I will consider that output offset voltage is positive. That means if A will be exactly at 0 volts, because that capacitor is discharge 1, it will go on to act as an open circuit. Node B, there will be somewhat positive, very, very small positive DC voltage available. So the differential voltage, it will be somewhat that small millivolt signal minus voltage at A, which is 0. So that differential voltage also will be very, very small. But here you will observe the used feedback, it is positive feedback. The output, it is fed back to the input side to the positive terminal. That means we can say it is a positive feedback circuitry. And again, last year only, you already studied about the difference between positive and negative feedback, their advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage of positive feedback is what? It increases the gain. By positive feedback, the gain of that device or that circuitry, it gets increased. Already this op-amp have its open loop gain very, very high. That is 2 into 10 raised to 5 for general purpose op-amp. That is 741. And again, if positive feedback is used, that means we can say that gain will be very, very large. So that very large gain, okay, very large gain into this node voltage, which is generated by offset. Okay. That will be the output voltage, and it will going on to switch that output to plus Vsat. Are you getting it? It will going on to switch it to plus Vsat. Okay. I will take that feedback factor. One term is there, that is beta, which is equals to, over here we can write R2 divided by R1 plus R2. This is the feedback factor. Okay. If this one is equals to 0.09, I will take this value. A very small feedback factor I will go on to consider, because that op-amp is used in positive feedback configuration. So no need to go for higher feedback factor, right? So remember, if our output of op-amp gets switched to plus Vsat at the start only, this is nothing but our plus saturation. Okay. How much will be the voltage at node B? voltage at node B, that is VB, equals to this feedback factor beta into plus Vsat. Agree? Voltage at B, it will be equals to beta, that is feedback factor, into the source of that voltage. What is the source of that voltage? That is output. And how much is the output? Immediately, due to that offset voltage, that output will go switch to plus Vsat. Correct? Are you getting it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So by that output voltage, that is plus Vsat, node voltage, that is VB, it will be equals to beta into plus Vsat. Right? If I consider plus minus VCC as a 15 volts, then how much it will be? VB will be equals to 0.09 into how much will be plus Vsat? That is 90% of VCC. So 90% of 15. So it will be 13.5 volts. And hence VB equals to, calculate it, 0.09 into 13.5. This will be my node voltage or voltage available at the non-inverting terminal when output will get switched to plus Vsat.
1.215.
How much?
1.215.
1.125. Is it okay? Is it correct? 1.125?
1.215 volt.
1.25.
1.215.
Okay, 1.215. Okay. So that node voltage, it will remain at 1.215 volts. This is my VB. Where we are applying it? We are applying it to non-inverting terminal of that op-amp. Okay. Now see, when that output will be at plus Vsat, will get switched to plus Vsat, what will be going to happen? Some amount of current will start to flow through this resistor R, feedback resistor, and will start to charge the capacitor. Initially, that capacitor was discharged, completely discharged capacitor. So it will start to charge through resistor R. This one. Agree? Now, the charging rate of that capacitor, here we can say that will be dependent on the value of resistor R used. If resistor R is of very large value, then that capacitor will get charged slowly. If it is very, very small, it will get charged fastly. Correct now? Simple logic. So here what I will do, I will consider this capacitor will start to charge like this. Okay. At a particular time, the capacitor voltage, it will become 1.215 volts. Correct? Are you agree with this? At a particular time, after T0. Here, I will consider T0 at origin. Okay. Output of that op-amp will get switched to plus Vsat. By that plus Vsat output, this node voltage will get generated at 1.25 volts. Right? At the same time, this capacitor also will start to charge through this feedback resistor. I will consider at time period T1 over here, that capacitor will have the charge equals to 1.215 volts. Okay. So at T equals to T1, my simple question, how much will be the output of op-amp? Fast. It's very simple.
0.
It will become 0 because
0.
the differential voltage will become 0. Correct na? At T equals to T1, as capacitor voltage is equals to this node B voltage, differential voltage will become 0 volts. And what is the output of op amp? That gain times differential voltage. And that's why it will become 0. Right? Now, when at t equals to T0, that output of op amp will become 0 volts, how much will be the node voltage? Node voltage B, which is equals to output.
0.
Yes, which is equals to output into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Correct now? So as output goes to 0 at t equals to T1, because of both input terminals are equipotential due to the charge held by capacitor. Correct? Now, non-inverting terminal of that op amp is at 0 potential at t equals to T1. While inverting terminal is at how much potential? That is positive charge held by this capacitor. Correct? That means this inverting terminal is positive and non-inverting terminal is at 0 level. Agree? Are you agree with this? At t equals to T1, what is happening? Yes or no? At t equals to T1, capacitor will get charged to 1.1215 volts, so that input terminals of that op amp, it becomes equipotential. That means differential voltage of that circuitry, it becomes 0 volts, and hence the output will become 0. When output will become 0, this node voltage will become 0. Then voltage at node A, due to this capacitor, it will be positive something, and hence the output of op amp will become minus V sat. Correct? It will get directly forced to minus V sat. Agree? Now see.
Yes, sir.
Now see what will happen later on. Now this capacitor will start to discharge. Okay? It will get discharged like this. But whenever it will get totally discharged, it will be at 0 volts, suppose. But still, node B voltage, it is negative. So 0 volt is greater than this negative. And that's why the output of op amp will remain minus V sat. Now the capacitor will start to charge with the opposite polarity as compared to previous, because its input voltage is minus V sat. Right? It will start to again charge with negative polarity, and again will reach to minus 1.215 volts at a particular time. Again, the charge held by this capacitor will become how much? Minus 1.215 volts. Suppose this happens at time period T2. At t equals to T2, the capacitor voltage, it becomes minus 1.215. Okay? Again, at t equals to T2, you will observe both the input terminals of that op amp are at equipotential, and hence the differential voltage will become 0 volts, and hence the output of that op amp will become 0. So at t equals to T2, output of op amp, it will become 0. Correct? Agree? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at t equals to T2, op amp output becomes 0, because terminal B and A, or voltages at A and B, are equal, that is minus 1.215. Okay. Now see, when the output of op amp will become 0, node voltage, that is VB, it will become again 0 volts. Right? Now compare these two. Non-inverting is at 0 volts and inverting is at minus 1.215. Correct now? Voltage at A will be minus 1.215 volts at t equals to T2, and voltage at B is equals to 0. That means the potential available at non-inverting terminal is more positive as compared to inverting, and hence the output of op-amp again will get switched to plus Vsat like this. Again check what will be going to happen with the capacitor. Now this capacitor again, see, its input, that is plus Vsat, and the charge stored by this capacitor is negative, right? So it will start to again discharge, will become 0 volts at something time period, right? But our node voltage is positive, and that's why op-amp output will remain plus Vsat. Capacitor again will start to charge as that of first condition, that is positive over here and negative towards the ground, right? And at t equals to T3, again that capacitor voltage will reach to 1.215 volts. This is nothing but T3, right? When it will become 1.215, differential voltage of that op-amp will become 0 volts, and hence again output will get forced to 0 at t equals to T3. And later on, this cycle will remain repetitive. Correct? So see, what nature of output we are getting. What is the nature of output? It is square wave. Are you agree with this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No any time varying signal is used. Still we can generate only by using that op-amp as an active element and somewhat passive components. We can generate the output as square wave. Right? Now, my simple question is, whatever output we are getting here, peak to peak, it is plus minus Vsat, right now. So it will be, if it is of 15 volts, then peak to peak it will be of 27 volts peak to peak. One peak is of 90% of VCC, that is 13.5. So peak to peak it will become 27. Now suppose my requirement is only 1.4 volt peak to peak. Purposely I taken this value. You also will get cleared. If it is of 1.4 volts peak to peak, what we can do? That means one peak is of 0.7 volts. Just
DC
yes,
0.7 0.7 सेट कर अपन पावर DC पावर सप्लाय आहे ना तो 0.7 सेट करू तर
this one plus minus VCC.
Plus VCC.
yes sir
No. There is minimum.
पण येतं सर
There is minimum voltage requirement of that op-amp. I think it is 7 to 8 volts minimum. There should be plus minus VCC, and maximum 17 to 18 volts. That means your powering voltage to the op-amp, it should be between that 7 volts plus minus 7 to plus minus 18. Instead of that, it's a very simple technique. Just connect two diodes like this, anti-parallel to diodes. So see, whenever output will get switched to plus Vsat, diode D1 will conduct, correct? And how much will be the drop across it? During plus Vsat, drop across diode will be 0.7, right now? And whenever output will be minus Vsat, diode D2 will conduct and drop across it will be 0.7 again, like this. We are measuring the voltage at this terminal. That's why it will look like negative. So that peak to peak voltage, it will be of 1.4 volts peak to peak. Are you getting it? Why I taken it as 1.44 1.4 volt peak to peak. That also I will be going to explain later on while integrating this circuit with the another one. Okay. Now we'll design it. So the design part, note down. Let feedback factor, that is beta, let beta equals to 0.09. Okay, let that beta equals to 0.09. Consider R2 equals to 10 ohm. Consider R2 equals to 10 ohm. This beta is nothing but what? R2 divided by R1 plus R2. Therefore, R1 equals to, calculate it. Therefore, R1 equals to, how much it is? How much is the value of R1?
It's like 101.1.
Okay. It is of 100 ohm. Select that R1 equals to 100 ohm. Already we consider R2 as 10 ohm. Therefore, we will get that feedback factor beta as 0.09. Agree? Now next, let the oscillating frequency of the output, let the oscillating frequency of this square wave output is 1 kilohertz. Is 1 kilohertz. Okay, now see one more thing. Can you think this oscillating frequency of the obtained output voltage, that is square wave, is it dependent on RC time constant of this network? Are you agree with this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See, the charging time, it will go on to decide the plus VSAT level, correct now? Duration of that plus VSAT level or positive half cycle, we can say. And similarly, discharging plus charging in opposite direction, it will go on to decide the period of negative half cycle, correct now? So the capital T, it will be dependent on what? RC time constant, right? Yes or no? Therefore, next line, consider C equals to, this capacitor C equals to 10 microfarad. C equals to 10 microfarad. And according to this RC time constant, there is one formula, capital T equals to twice of RC into log of 1 plus beta divided by 1 minus beta. Note down it. That capital T equals to twice of RC. R is nothing but feedback resistor, this one. C, that is capacitor, which is connected at the inverting terminal, into log of 1 plus beta by 1 minus beta. Beta is nothing but feedback factor, this one. Here we consider it as 0.09. Okay. So see, we consider the value of this C as 10 microfarad, right? Capital T is how much? We consider FO, oscillating frequency, as 1 kilohertz. I should get that square wave of 1 kilohertz. That means its capital T will be 1 millisecond. So 1 millisecond equals to 2 into R, that we have to find out, into C that we taken it as 10 into 10 raised to minus 6 into log of 1 plus 0.09 divided by 1 minus 0.09. Therefore, R equals to just calculate the value of this R. Try to implement this circuit by using our simulation software and observe the output. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for your today's assignment or for this practical session, whatever the things you studied, just try to implement, just try to check all the components, try to implement it by using our simulation, Protif simulation software, and observe the output. Are you getting it or not? Just check the output voltage as well as on second channel, check the capacitor voltage waveform also. And just align both waveforms on a common x-axis. You will observe the same thing, right? So this will be as a homework. Up to today evening, you have to complete it, implement, and forward to my Google Classroom. Whatever the things you will going on to perform, scan it properly as a practical, scan it, run this using simulation software, and upload all these things to my Google Classroom. Okay? I will prepare one assignment in my Google Classroom, and under that assignment you have to submit it. So is it okay? So I will
Yes,
stop.
sir.
I will stop here, and given work today only you have to complete and submit. So thank you very much.